results.
I guess I'm hung up because I guess the group is the Army Corps of Engineers that can come in and actually look at watershed and how water flows. And I've only been here for a few years, but we sit in a bowl.
Yeah.
We've got water coming in from every direction. And I guess what my point is yeah, do we need to improve our sewer? Yes, I'm sure we do. But what else can we do? And this doesn't involve what's in your contract, but don't we need to look at an infrastructure as far as how we're handling the water that's coming in, why it's coming in, and diverting that away as well? I mean, because it's going to be nice to have a big sewer plant, but do we really need that big of a sewer plant? And that goes back to the what capacity are we at question.
Well, and I guess just looking at, flipping through an MRO, I found June of 2011, and you received 3/4 of an inch that entire month. Well, no, sorry, 1.5, about 2.25 inch the entire month. There was 3 days that it actually rained, and your average flow, influent flow, was 0.223. So
Off 240.
yeah,
Yeah, I
So-
see your point.
I mean, and you had some months lower than that. You've had some months 0.382, 0.332. Here is one that's 0.64. So what we typically do is average it out through the year. Take a look at 2 years. Try to take a look at it every year just so you can kind of see trends. No year is going to be the same. It can get worse and then better depending on, like they said, this year has been a wet year. Last year was a drought. So those are going to have some impact. So you just kind of have to look at it whole.
Okay.
Now we could go in and do a minimal project and try to get you some extra capacity, but you're talking about probably only increasing in a minimal amount unless we go outside of kind of the existing footprint and really do something different. Like I said, the one thing you got to consider is, the facilities out there are just old.
I mean, I think we
So-
have to figure out first, I mean, has this contract been paid out? Have we paid you this $5?
You've not paid us nothing. We've not billed.
What's owed on it?
Um,
I mean, apparently you did this work last May on that,
Yeah.
updating it.
Where is the study that we made? Is it set here?
That's a part of it.
Yeah, that's basically where we got to. What I was kind of waiting on is kind of some direction on where you wanted to apply for funding. Obviously, you're going to go through Office of Community and Rural Affairs, but that's only going to cover a small portion of the project. So do you go through rural development or do you go through the state revolving fund? And we're waiting a little bit for UMBAW to prepare their rate study that would provide you with some of that information on, what the interest rates were going to be so that they could calculate the rates impact. And I believe they presented that in July. So once you were to select where you wanted to apply for, we could assist you through that process and then complete the preliminary engineering report. Because either one of those have different requirements. They all kind of include the same thing, but it's just a little bit different. So in order to move forward, that's kind of where we wanted to go, and make sure that if this is what you want to do. If you want to look something else, we can do that. But that's kind of where we were.
Well, to be honest, these numbers, when you brought them the first time, just scared the hell out of us.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, everybody just, threw a fit over raising for the trash, and we're talking a big increase for this.
Yeah.
So we're just looking at something, what we could do to get done what needs to be done, but at a more reasonable cost if possible. Because, yes, Chuck.
Did we get a copy of this
I worked
here?
with Midwest on a project down there with Drew Wiggins,
The cost, yeah.
Brian, and
We got that
3 years
some time ago.
before we done our project, we had them come in, like Mark was talking about,
Right.
trying to do stuff in town. It wasn't with them guys that leak. We spent $700,000, it's gonna correct our problem, take care of stuff in town where it wouldn't come to our plant. All it done was got it there quicker. It was a waste of money, might as well took the money and threw it out. They increased the plant size down there, went in town and didn't do the grout, they used the interliner. And done the main trunk line, like he's talking about from here out to your plant, and then the ones that was really, really bad. And that's the only way you're gonna spend the money wisely. You go in town and find this Band-Aid, this and that, and you're wasting your money. You never do it.
But I mean, that's just kind of where we was at. I mean, yeah, I mean, personally, I wasn't trying to throw you guys out or anything else. I just want to hear other ideas, you know?
Sure, sure.
Do we
I
have
mean,
a
I
contract
understand
up with SIDC of any kind?
No, not
Like
for
agreement or-
SIDC is not an engineering firm. We're,
No, I know that, but
yeah, we're, the county, puts money into SIDC, and then that covers Odin, under SIDC.
just trying to find out what our obligations
No, so
are.
you have no obligations to SIDC
Okay.
right now. We're just a free service.
And you're to what?
Well, I wanted to go over a little bit, I was asked to come talk a little bit about the grant process in itself, if you guys were looking at trying to get some grant funds to go along with loan
A
funds.
lot of grant funds.
Well,
We
I
have,
don't-
yeah, they just heard a
Yeah.
whole presentation on all those options.
yeah, and
The
so
last meeting, actually.
you need to know a little bit more of kind of the steps. And I put together, just a quick something that gives you the notes, goes through some of the, I think I've got it for everybody here. I think it's relog. But basically, I just kind of jotted down some things this afternoon when I, kind of understand where you guys are at. If you're looking at doing a grant, on this, the only granting source that's really out there is the Office of Community and Rural Affairs. Other than if you go into a situation with USDA or SRF where they might be able to give you a grant to buy your rates down. When I was looking at the UMBAL study, it was looking like it would be able to, without utilizing grants from SRF or RD, you were getting the rates down to like $47 per 4,000 gallons or $44 per 4,000 gallons. That doesn't qualify you for.
That's with no grant from RD or SRF.
No, I didn't, unless I read it wrong, but I didn't see any grant from those two. And really, when they look at, buying rates down, I think that Brian, is the rate somewhere around, to buy the rates down for wastewater would be $45?
That'd probably be a minimum. You're probably
I bet
50,
it's probably
55.
50 or 55. So you were sort of still under what those minimums that they would be able to buy your rate down to. I'm not the rate accountant, so I don't want to dig into their numbers too well. But, looking at it, if you were looking at one of your alternates as Midwest proposed it, you'd have to go through different things. And that's what SIDC does. We help you go through the process in order to apply for the grant funding. And then typically your engineer will put in the application to either USDA or SRF. USDA, U.S. Department of Agriculture, and then SRF is the State Revolving Loan Fund. So one's federal, one's state. SRF, be quick and dirty on it, it's 20 years. Payback, USDA is 40 years. Rates kind of vary on either one. Typically they're in 4% range right now, and they depend on size of your communities, distress, and all kinds of different factors that kind of go into it. But that's the basic 1 to 40 year, 1 to 20 year. USDA will always kind of be your cheapest per month, but you're paying 40 years on it. And so it's one of those things where you got to weigh your maintenance. Is the useful life of your system going to hold out 40 years, or are you going to be having a problem on top of it? 30
I
years
think the
down the
original
line?
was 40 years, wasn't it?
Yeah.